Okay. It's time for a Senior Citizens Forum. I'm Janice Wood, your host. A Senior Citizens Forum is being sponsored by Benefits for You 2 Insurance Services, where we provide Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare prescription drug plans, and supplemental plans. But today on the Senior Citizens Forum, we're going to be talking about people being alone, especially seniors being alone during the holidays. And I did a little bit of research to see how many holidays there actually are in the month of December. And I was really shocked to find out that there are 11 different holidays from the beginning of December to the very end. And of course, the most popular holidays that we know about is Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and then I was just shocked to find out about these other holidays. But it covers a vast majority of different religious groups, different cultures. So, and some of them lead back into Christianity, some of them don't, some of them stand alone. But it's still the holiday time. It's still a celebrating time. Do you realize that I read an article in the I believe it was Time Magazine, and Time Magazine said that 28% of people over the age of 65 live alone. That 6 million men, just below 6 million men, and just over 10 million women. That's really scary. But in my field, that I do find a lot of people that do live by themselves and they have no other contact, which is, I find very, very sad. But today I have with me a Dean White, who's been on our show before, and he has brought a lot of great information to people who watch our show. Dean White is from Caring Senior Services, located in Orange County. And he is a minister. He has a wonderful background in caring for people. I have been part of the same business group as him. And I always loved it when he did his presentations, because he made everything so much more interesting. So Dean, what haven't I covered about you that you want to add to this? Please.
Well, hi, Janice. It's great to be on your show again. Fun fact, I was born on Christmas Day. And so I think it's always been a spirit inside of me to be giving and be a part of a giving holiday, because I just like to take that throughout my whole life. I grew up in just a season that it's always positive and joyful and helping others. And so as a young child, it was always Christmas has always been the best time of the year. And people always ask me, do I feel like I get gypped by having it on Christmas? And I really don't. I feel like everybody remembers it's my birthday. I always tease that people put up trees for me and, lights all around the city for me.
Oh, you thought they were celebrating you, is that it?
So I love that my birthday is Christmas. Um, but it is a big time. As we talk about seniors being alone, we do have a number, with our in-home care business, we have a number of seniors that are alone at Christmas, or I should say during the holidays, because some of them, celebrate Kwanzaa, and some of them celebrate Hanukkah and other faiths as well. So you're right.
Yes, I mean, there's so many different types of celebrations out there this time of the year. It's so festive, but there's so many different reasons why people are alone. So we want to touch on that just a little bit, and then we'll go through and find out, what they can do to make it better, and how you help to make it better
Sure.
with your caring senior services. So, I mean, I would tell a story I was thinking about this morning when I started doing Medicare insurance, and this got to be about 16, 17 years ago. And I remember going into, it was a couple, and they shouldn't have been alone, even though they were a couple. And she was confined to her chair, and her husband was taking care of her, who had, I think she said he had Alzheimer's.
Mm,
And it was just really sad. And I remember asking them, well, where are your children? And she said, they're too busy. Well, one of the other thing that stood out in my mind, they lived in a very pretty house and a very nice neighborhood. And but when I walked into the house, you you could smell the urine,
mm.
which was really sad. So I'm talking 17, this is like 17 years ago. And when I first started doing this, I did not know what I could do to make a difference. Now I
Sure.
know what I can do to make a difference. I have
Mm.
people to go to. And that to me was a very sad situation.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of times seniors don't know who to call, and they know that their kids are in a different state, or even they had, maybe they didn't have kids, but
Yeah.
they've relied upon one friend for a long time, and that one friend would come over and help them or drive them places, and now that friend has gotten too old themselves or has passed away or doing things with their family, and they find themselves, what do I do? How do I get help? And sometimes they feel it's almost, embarrassing just to make the phone call because they don't want to be swindled like so often places are, and or people don't, what questions do I ask? And I always tell people, you should, when you make a phone call to a caring company like mine, or a caregiving company, you shouldn't feel pressure. It's an information meeting. Just like when they talk to you, Janice, you're simply giving them information and then they can make a decision. But the main thing is that you really don't want to be alone for the holidays. Um, and I have a client that she outlived her husband. She lives in a beautiful home. It's a one story, but she is now in her late 80s, and she wants to decorate, and she doesn't even has a hard time getting that box out of the top shelf. And so we have Dana going over to her house, and Dana is going to help her, decorate for Christmas, and then take her to the store and do a little bit of Christmas shopping and help her mail things to the post office, and is even going to come by, Christmas morning just to spend a little time with her. And it makes a humongous difference in enjoying the holidays. And it's amazing to me how often um, people will spend money on a materialistic thing like a TV or a car or something that they don't even use all the time, or a piece of jewelry. And they're very proud of this materialistic thing that they bought, but they forget that the first thing they need to spend money on is themselves, and especially for their care. That brand new car in the driveway isn't going to feed you a meal or help you to the bathroom or help go shopping with you or talk to you about old times. Better to use that money for your care so that you can enjoy life, so that you can do the things that you used to do and find value in things versus, of course, being alone.
Yeah, I think it's so important that people realize that as people get older, and I'm a senior citizen, and I know I wake up and there's a pain I didn't have there before. And
Yeah, yeah, that's a
I,
good point.
yeah, I mean, a lot of seniors, they just can't move around like they used to.
Yeah. Well, that's just with all of us. Anybody getting older can't move around like we used to. I'm pretty athletic and I get so frustrated that my muscles get stiff. And that's all of us at all ages, but especially when you get older. And then if you happen to trip or you fall, or you even, hit your toe on the end of the cabinet, then you are really stuck in a spot. And it's again, it's really important to know, how can I maximize my health? And a lot of times we take vitamins and supplements and we take our prescriptions because the doctor tells us to, but the best prescription is having somebody there, a friend,
There, I
and
mean,
somebody that
also
can,
able to move a
yeah,
little, even just going like this.
right,
So
right.
I'm also
She'll,
like, I'm like you. I try to do some exercising several times a week,
yeah,
and it makes a difference. But my thing right now is that seniors don't go out like they used to, okay, when they were younger. So it was
mm,
easy to walk, get in the car, drive and go to a party, have a drink or two, feel really good. But now, because we don't feel good physically, but we also may not feel good mentally.
that's really true. And they kind of go hand in hand, right? I mean, if you don't feel good mentally, then you're going to make decisions that are going to make you not feel good physically. And it kind of just spirals. And we see that a lot at this time of year. We have a lot of people that, we know holidays are hard. You remember a loved one that passed away, or you had a loved one that passed away this year, and you don't get to celebrate a holiday with them. And so it makes it really difficult. Um, I always say, bring a friend around, make a phone call, bring somebody near you, and the caregivers are wonderful people. I mean, they will help you clean the house, they'll help you do laundry, they'll help you move, like you were mentioning. Some physical therapy is great, but also it's great just to go for a walk or drive to the mall where you see all the festivities and you see the lights, or just drive around at night to see the lights. Those are all things that we've all enjoyed through our whole entire life. Why all of a sudden should we negate those out of our lives? We need to really bring those back so we can enjoy those, right? My mom used to just love being driven around and seeing the lights. And nowadays, people really, I mean, they have always done it, but nowadays it's so easy for them to do lights, and so many people do. It's not just one block, it's everywhere. And so it's a beautiful thing to experience, right?
It is. There's so much to experience in the holidays, and it's just, it's sad when all of a sudden you find that, maybe your children moved away. It's sad, you find that your friends have passed on.
Yeah, it's very,
And
very hard.
it,
Um,
and it's very hard. And I like something that you said a few minutes ago, and that was that you send people out on, let's say, Christmas Day. And this year, Hanukkah and Christmas are at the same time.
oh, that's what I want. Now, let's just go back to Thanksgiving, which was just just a short time ago.
Oh, yes.
Um, we had, one of our clients, she lives alone. She's 96, or going to be 96 this month. And the caregiver, the family, they live pretty far away. And they simply said, Dean, we would love the caregiver to, we'll send them a meal. They picked up a meal from Norm's, who had it, and then the caregiver, sat with our client Donna, and they enjoyed a meal together, and they got to enjoy Thanksgiving, and that was exactly what our client wanted, Donna wanted, and so it was a really nice day for her, and the family felt so much better because mom wasn't really healthy enough to, be taken out of where she's at her home, to a new place with a whole bunch of young kids and a lot of, craziness that's around. So makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, I think living amongst a bunch of like, younger families, would help a little bit because you see life going on. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there's still life going on outside your home.
Yeah, 100%. And we should always be engaged in that in some way or another. What are some of the Hanukkah traditions that you enjoy?
Well, I mean, Hanukkah is not in the Jewish religion, and I don't like talking religion on here, okay? But Jewish religion, it's not a real important holiday. It's like one of the more minor holidays.
Oh,
But
yeah.
because of Christmas, okay, uh, it's been made to be to be a bigger holiday. And what we do, the traditions of Hanukkah is about a couple of miracles, and one of them is taking pancakes and frying them.
Yes, I love that.
So they call that latkes, okay,
Yes, you put a little bit of applesauce on top.
with applesauce or a jelly or sour cream on top. And we have parties, and then I don't have any of this out at this point yet, but we have like little dreidel game. It's like a top, and
Yep, yep.
children play that game, and that dates back to the time of the Spanish Inquisition,
Wow.
when you weren't allowed to practice anything but Catholicism, okay? And if
Wow.
they saw you, you were actually killed,
Oh my gosh.
okay? So that game came across during that period of time, and that is carried on through. It's part of the fun of the Hanukkah, and so that's one thing. And then there's the lighting of the candles, which
Right?
commemorates the when the
Oil.
Syrians, well, the oil. So when the Syrians left the temple, and I don't have the dates right in front of me. Okay, it was
Mhm.
BC. They left the temple. There, in the temple, there's always supposed to be a light that's never stops. So in that time, they used oil, and they found one oil, and supposedly somebody went off to get more oil, and that oil lasted for 8 days. So that was a miracle.
Amazing.
So there's several different miracles that I only talking about a
I
couple.
so love that. It's just, and I think that's what this season's so about, is about the miracles of
Yeah.
this season. And and that's what makes Christmas and Hanukkah this time of year so, so special. And I love talking about traditions. We for years our whole family got together and we would always do an elephant gift exchange, and
Yeah.
it would be so funny, and just eating and having family around was just
I
so,
think
so precious.
for both of it, especially Kwanzaa, I don't know much about Kwanzaa, but I know people
Mhm.
get together. They celebrate you know,
Yeah.
in different ways, but it's still family getting together.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because one way of celebrating the holiday is giving somebody a gift, right? And
Mhm.
sometimes you can give somebody a gift by giving them a caregiver for the day. And it
Yeah.
could be a neighbor that you know that is often recluse or just lives on their own. It could be somebody that is a family member, but to say, this year, I want to give somebody some company. I can't be there myself, but I'd love for them to have somebody come in and give them so much better. Give them a day that they would remember. As a kids, you remember this, gosh, if we could be one day with a celebrity, whoever your person that you wanted to be with when you were a teenager, and whoever your heartthrob was, that would have been something you would remember forever. And if you were now at this age, the heartthrob may not be so much, but it'd be great to have a friend. And sometimes if it's not a child making the phone call, or the client themselves making a phone call, it could be a friend that just wants to help out another friend.
Right. Well, one of the things that you were talking about, and then let me finish up, and we're going to take a quick break and hear from Arash about
Yeah.
scamming and hacking, which is big during the holiday time. But one of the things I noticed, I go into a lot of senior communities where people actually live, and participating in those activities, coming out of your apartment where you're staying, that to me would be a great help. And even in those communities, I see that they have caretakers. So go with a caretaker, go down to the different activities.
That's right. Exactly. Enjoy life. Have
But
life
if
a little
you
bad.
are a senior and you're living with a bunch of children in different apartments, and if somebody is listening to us, think about that senior that you know that's all by themselves. Go over there and visit. Have the kids adopt a new grandparent. Even though they may have a couple, but it's nice to have an extra grandparent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and we're going to hear from Arash, and we'll be back with Dean in just a couple of minutes. And we're going to talk about more things that we can do to help seniors out and to enjoy the festivities of the month of December, especially right around the 25th, the day before, the day after, because Hanukkah starts the night of Christmas Eve this year, and it's always at a different time. So let's take a really quick break, and we'll be right back. Arash, let's talk about scamming today.
For sure, yes.
Okay, so what is scamming?
Scamming is if someone or an organization or a group want to connect to anything valuable from you. For example, to your bank, to your insurance, to any account, Yahoo, Gmail, emails in general, or anything that's valuable to you. So
Valuable, that's your personal information that leads into your value.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yes, and that's the way. It's very important to know the valuable things have a good protection behind them, and then we're going to talk more about that as well. So that's in general is when they try to do that, and they have different ways to do that as well, that we're going to go over it today as well.
Yeah, we're going to go over that as quickly as we can, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
So if I want to protect myself from scamming, to me, it's an overwhelming subject.
Sure.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I would say the first thing, scamming can come email, scamming can come a phone call, scamming can come in the mail.
I got a mail last week from IRS, that you owe this tax, and then I checked with my CPA, and he said it's not, it's a scam.
Right, it's a scam.
Yeah.
Or it can come from, anywhere. Somebody knocking at your door.
Exactly. That's very true. And then, but we have to understand when the scammers try to come and then to access to your important information in different ways that you explained. First step, the traditional way, and nowadays still we use passwords. So very important to use correct passwords for our information.
Okay, so that would be like on your email.
For your email, for your bank account, for your even for your when you have the water bill, electricity bill, those important. Do not use, for example, the password for your bank account for your water bill.
Right.
Do not use your email password for it. So that's
and don't use your birthday.
Exactly. Don't use your name. Don't use your say. And lots of time you have person that helping you or an IT company or someone that knows more, and they say you have to have a complicated password. Do not say no. I don't want it. I want my welcome one explanation, something like that.
Well, it's going to depend because I know banks require certain passwords and protection. Medical, if I go into, I call it my chart for where I go, they have extra protection for going in.
They have extra protection.
I thought I was scammed the other day. Somebody called, I think it wasn't a phone call, I think it was a text message saying, oh, all your email accounts and your bank accounts have all been, what is it called? Compromised. Yes. And I'm going, well, who are you?
That's exactly right. So, and the very good example, Janice, on this text messages that when you receive, do not reply. Why? You know why? Because they want to see if your phone is active. Is it a real phone? And whatever answer you say, they're going to use your phone for scamming and for spoofing. And it means, have you seen someone call you with a very, very legit phone, like 949-714 area code, and then you pick up and you see, oh, that's someone that's, want to advertise or scam or whatever. So do not just click on report and report it, and then put it in the junk. So it's never going to come from that text without opening and replying it.
I mean, so it's real important that you don't open up those emails or those text messages that tell you that.
That's exactly right.
That you've been compromised.
That's exactly right. And
or you need to contact them to talk to you about it.
Don't
call them.
So in general, scamming again is when people or organizations, someone want to connect or to your valuable information. It's, as you said, they can knock on your door, they want to get the email address, bank account, all these things. So very important to understand who are these scammers. If someone call you, do not panic and say, oh, this is a legit. Check with someone that knows more first, or do a little research, then reply back.
Okay, thank you, Arash. This has been really great.
My
Come
pleasure.
back next week to a Senior Citizens Forum, and we will talk about how to protect yourself from those
For sure.
scammers.
Yeah, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Arash, for those great tips, because I know scamming is, you always think you get ahead of the scammers, and we don't. So be careful of who you give your information to. Very important. So Dean, let's talk about more things. We talked about a little bit during the break about gifts that you can give seniors. So,
Yeah, that's, I think that there's always great things, right? Like the heating thing that you put in the microwave and then you pull it out and it has eucalyptus in it and it puts around your shoulders and oh, that feels amazing. And that is such a nice little win for that. A great pair of socks that have a little traction on the bottom is great. But there's also these other things that are a nice bonus. And these are the things when you show up and you look around the house and you take away loose rugs and replace them with rugs that don't slip. It's a funny to give somebody a rug as a gift, but the truth of the matter, that could save somebody's life. And by just stepping on a rug, you can find out if it's going to slip or not. And as we get older, we just don't have the traction that we did. And one slip can be a broken hip, it could be a broken elbow, it could be a broken shoulder. One lady that we were helping out, we wanted to go and help her because she slipped and broke her nose. And so she had a black eye and a nose broken, and it was all because of a loose rug. And so whenever I go over to a house, I look for a loose rug, and I flip those out. The next thing is a shower chair, and it seems so simple and silly again, but it really is a huge, huge help. And they're very inexpensive. They come in all sorts of sizes and shapes, but a shower chair, most of the time, when showers do have a place to sit, it's really meant, to put your leg on to shave that leg. But to sit that low, it's way too hard to get back up. And so a shower chair is much higher. It grabs to the bottom of the floor, and it makes it a lot more convenient. And the third part of the shower is one of those wands that you can hold and then put over yourself and then put back on. It makes it so much easier to take a shower when you're sitting in a chair, and you can use one of those shower wands. It's a big, big win. There's a place called On the Mend in Huntington Beach, and they'll deliver anywhere,
I
but
know.
they have this device that if you can't put the right handrails in your shower because it might be plexiglass, they have something that goes from the ceiling to the floor and has multiple different handles on it. So you can pull it into the shower and pull it back out, and also have it close enough to the toilet so you can pull up from the toilet as well. But any of those things, even the little thing that you put on, it goes around the toilet and it has little handles so you can push yourself up, It's a great, great gift. And like many of these things are found on Amazon for a really wonderful price. On the Men has them for a phenomenal price as well. And and another thing, and it's going to sound a little funny, but a bidet. You can buy them for like $120 and they go on top of your toilet. But as somebody gets older, it's a UTI is very, very common, and UTI often equals delusion. And delusion, we were called that somebody was found walking around a parking lot and she didn't know where she was at. And it was all because of an infection caused from a UTI. And so if clients that have a chronic UTI, a bidet, installing one of those on top of your toilet, wipes out 95% of all the chance that another UTI would come back. And so those are some still little things. Also, a pill reminder. There's some really nice pill reminders that show morning, noon, and night, or morning and night. And those are really great. They even have some that are automatic that you can set up and put the timer on and it will dispense at the right time. They're a little costly, the automatic ones. But those things are huge, as well as coming over and just saying, hey, is there anything I can fix for you? And it may be a screen door that's loose. It may be a mailbox that handle that's broken. It could be a recliner that needs to be plugged in and they just can't find the cord. Um, Little things, spending an hour of just, I'm going to give you an hour of handyman stuff, it makes a world of difference. And so those are some of the top ones off the top of my head.
Okay, and I know the guys over at On the Mend. You can
Yeah.
buy it from Amazon, but the guys from On the Mend, they're a visit. They're great,
Yeah, Steve and all the guys are really wonderful,
and
and
they're
the
really great.
prices are great.
Yeah.
If you want to get a chair, for instance, you don't have to buy it, or you can actually rent it. It's so amazing that they can rent their products, and so they are a wonderful company. And if you go there, please tell them that Dean White from Caring Senior Service and Janice Wood has said to tell them hello, because we would love to
Oh,
recommend them.
definitely. I know I had some knee surgery and I called them up and I said, can you guys help me out with you know, with an on-ramp so I could get up the stairs, okay? Little
Yes.
minor things like that. And they were out within 2 hours of my calling them, and it was all set up before I even left the hospital. They are,
Yes.
they
They'll do
are,
free deliveries. They're amazing people.
and they do some very personal things that you're not going to find uh, on uh, on Amazon.
That 100%. One of them is a an alarm. There's two different types of alarms. There's a bed alarm and a mat alarm. So if your loved one wakes up in the middle of the night and you are sleeping in your bed and they swing their legs over and step on the mat, wherever you're at in the house, a little buzzer or an alarm will buzz and sound off, so you know they're getting up. Or there's also a bed alarm that goes in between the mattress, and when they get up, there's a shift in the weight, then it goes off. And that's a really big help. So often people just don't know that mom or dad are getting up in the middle of the night, and they are very scary to wake up in the morning and see that they're on the ground, they have fallen, or they're sleeping there because they got up in the middle of the night. So those alarm paths are really amazing as well. And they can help you there with that On the Mend too.
These are all great ideas, and just a little bit more on the mend. If you're watching us from another state, okay, there are
Mm,
some on the mends in different places in the United States. You just gonna have to go and Google them. But if you aren't living in an area where there's a place like On the Mend, please use your Amazon and find a great handyman that can
mhm.
help you, because we're seeing all over the place, okay? So
Another thing that came to my mind, Janice, and I just wanted to, I don't know where it fits in this segment, but it's so important that if you were a vet or if you were married to a vet, there's a good chance that there's VA benefits for you. And there's two different sides of this. There's the federal and there's the state. Now, if you are a vet, you have benefits on both sides. But if you were married to a vet, there's only benefits on the federal side. And there's some, things that you have to, your husband or your spouse, wife, have had to serve during wartime, have had to be overseas during that wartime, and your total net worth, not counting your home and not counting your car, has to be less than $155,000. If so, you can get approved with VA benefits. Now, you have to go through a licensed company like mine, and there's only a handful of companies that are approved. So if you're calling around and you just get a call and say, "Are you approved with the VA?" And then they get that, I have somebody from the VA call them, because if you go through the front door, you get all lost. It's the navigation to get through the VA is tough, but they call them and they get them approved.
Okay. Another idea for some of the seniors is in their Medicare Advantage plans, it covers medical equipment, okay?
Ah,
Okay. And even just straight original Medicare has medical equipment as part of it, but they have to pay a certain percentage of what the costs are, which is going to be 20%. And that can be for canes, oxygen tanks, wheelchairs, and many other things. I even heard somebody tell me that a pacemaker comes underneath that. But there are many different things that will come under their Medicare benefits, okay, that they can get. Or if somebody's clever enough, they can figure out how to use I'm not going to say that, the client's Medicare to get some of that stuff for them, because it is available. But I like the idea of definitely giving gifts. But I also want to bring up another idea. If you're alone for the holidays, and I know more and more seniors are becoming more and more computer literate through the phones, through the computers, and I guarantee them their family members, the younger generation, is computer literate. Go on Zoom or Skype or something like that, or FaceTime, whatever. I know I have a son that lives
great
in
idea.
Brazil, so sometimes we'll communicate on WhatsApp. There's so many different ways to communicate with family that lives far away. Or maybe that best friend, because just recently I hadn't talked to a friend that I've known since probably the 4th grade, and she moved to the other side of the country, and we hadn't talked since before the pandemic. And it was great talking to her. So that may be something you can use. Connect with somebody you haven't connected with all the great technology. And if you live in an area where there's any young people, they will definitely know how to connect you.
That's right. That's a great suggestion, Janice, because you're right. The Zoom or FaceTime, there's so many ways to get connected now and, be able to see your family during the holidays.
Yeah. And I know my family once a week, and we live all over the world. And it's really hard getting that time together because we're all in different time zones. Okay. We will connect once a week. Not everybody's on there at the same time. And every so often we are all on there at the same time. But it's a good way to stay connected. And I just think it's, besides going out, besides, if whatever religious organization you're part of, going to church, going to temple, if you're Jewish or you're Buddhist, you know, uh, those activities, not everybody is like me that's involved in many, many things. I listen to what a lot of seniors talk about, and we're interviewing seniors to find out what they do in their retirement.
Hmm.
If you know anybody that's interesting in what they're doing in their retirement, I'd love to meet them. Or if anybody out there is doing something interesting in their retirement, contact me. I would love to interview you, because retirement and being alone doesn't mean your life has to stop.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. So I just think it's so important to be active and enjoy whatever, whatever the miracle of life is that you have.
It's really true. I mean, I have was one client, she is 92, and her family bought her an iPad, and it's so great. Then they connected it so that all she has to say is, I can't say the name right now because then it's gonna play it, but I say,
Okay.
hey, blank, play this. And she can watch programs from Matlock and she watches other videos, and then the family calls her on it and they're able to see grandma and see their mom and check in with her. And then the caregiver goes over there and she has different apps that are games that are great, like Sudoku or other things that are just mental challenges that help. And I like playing those already myself. And so the iPad was a great gift that kind of connects all of those things. Of course, they brought it to their grandson to set it all up, right?
Always.
So
I mean, I'm always telling my clients, go talk to your teenage grandchild because they know how to set up your phone for you.
it's really
They'll
true.
show you, and you can't blow up the phone, so don't worry about it.
That's true. That is really true. Yeah, and so it's a really wonderful thing, especially there's been a couple times where the caregiver has called the son and said, I noticed this on your mom's hand. Is this a concern? And so because of the camera there, he's able to just show, the caregiver is able to show the son what her hand looked like. And or it could be anything, or any body part for that matter, or anything in the house. But the nice thing that the iPad has a camera already built in for that to happen. And so it's a really great tool in many ways, a gift, and plus, like you said, the Zoom or the FaceTime or however they want to connect.
I mean, there's just so many different ways out there. You just have to say, okay, I'm not going to be afraid of it. And I don't know what else to say. It's just that you also have to be open-minded and accept that people want to help you out.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
there's ways, because I know a lot of times I go, I don't want to do this because it's not comfortable.
Yeah, and we just have to get used to it. We know the nice thing about having a caregiver is they don't want to take you out of your normal routine. They're there to and help your routine. And so they're not, and then if you want space, they just go home. I mean, that's a really simple one, and that you're not tied into a contract with them. You try it out, and a lot of times it's like, getting to know somebody. Some personalities, they might be a great caregiver, but it may not be the right personality. So you try somebody else. But you walk into a time that you get to use to a caregiver because in 5 years from now or 2 years from now, you might need somebody a little more permanently. So better to do it now.
Well, Dean, this has been a lot of fun as always. Okay. I hope you come back and we can talk more about caregiving. We talked about it for
Sure.
the holidays. I just want to tell people that, please remember, if you know your neighbor next door is sitting there by themselves, reach out to them. Okay. And also, if you're watching this and you're somebody that's alone, maybe you should be reaching out to your neighbors because they don't know you're alone. And I know it may be out of your comfort zone, but it will be rewarding. So even if you don't feel good, and it's an effort to do, I find sometimes when I don't feel good, if I go out and I'm about people, that not feeling good sometimes goes away.
That's true. Very
Yeah.
much so.
And I like that Dean's Caring Senior Services is out there to help their, I don't want to say clients, but work with their new
Yeah.
family members. I would rather call it that, okay? And it
Yeah.
sounds like they actually become part of the people that they're helping to take care of their families, and it can make a difference of being lonely and depressed, and having somebody show up with some cookies.
That's right. And Janice, is it okay to leave my contact information?
Oh, always. I have your contact information will be put right on here, so that's
Okay.
not a
I
problem.
just wanted everybody to know that Caring Senior Service, there's 54 different locations in 18 states, but you can always call any of them at headquarters. Mine is in Irvine, and we serve the Orange County area, or in California, that is. But happy to help anybody, and even if you have a question, always feel free to shoot an email or give us a call.
And for some reason you can't get a hold of Dean, I know how to get a hold of Dean.
That's right.
I will definitely be able to do it. Everybody have a wonderful holiday season. I hope we've given you some ideas on what you can do. I mean, and there's many more we didn't go over. And if you have any comments and anything, suggestions for us, please contact us. We love to have those. Thank you, Dean, for being part of a senior citizens forum. And for you, have a very Merry Christmas and
Thank you.
Happy New Year. And I know we're going to have you on again next year. We'll just talk about caregiving. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, happy holidays. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Janice. Happy Hanukkah to you. And
Thank
again, thank you again for having me on.
you.